Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney. I'm making 5 videos today so I can post them for the rest of the week because I'm going to be busy on arbitration all week and won't be able to make you daily videos. And today we're talking about kind of a recap video. This is something we've talked about a lot because we get an awful lot of calls about it. People want to push back on vaccine requirements in the workplace. And we've been very, very clear. We're not helping people. We're not bringing cases for people who are dealing with a vaccine mandate from a private employer. We're not. Private employers can do as they please. It is their business. If you don't like it, you are free to find employment elsewhere. That is certainly your right. Unless there are two conditions, right? And we're going to get into those conditions in a moment because this is a recap video and I'm trying to supply you all kind of a summary of the situation and of your rights. So the second situation is where you have a government mandate for the vaccine in which you will lose your employment and have actually lost your employment due to a government mandate. That's a different situation than a private employer requiring it. It's not the same. And that is something where if you've actually lost your job, do that mandate. And to the best of my knowledge, that is only currently happening in New York City and will only be happening starting September the 13th of 2021 in New York City. So those cases, that's a separate situation. Let's set that aside. That's not going to be most of you. Now, okay, so your private employer has required you to be vaccinated in order to work. Great. We support that. That is their right. Whether I agree or disagree is irrelevant. I don't think there's a legal argument against it. Now, there's two situations where they don't have that power. The first is where you have a disability that keeps you from getting the vaccine, right? There are various forms of immune compromised situations and conditions where people are not able to get the vaccine. They have a disability. They can't do it. Medically, it would be a risk to them. Their doctors agree. Their doctors are willing to put that in writing. Their doctors, they're real doctors. Not their fake doctor, not their bullshit doctor, not the guy that gave $20 on the street, not their medical marijuana doctor. Their real doctor is willing to give them a real diagnosis that they have a disability that will actually put them at risk. In that situation, they have what's called the right to a reasonable accommodation under federal law and under the laws of many states. And they will then potentially be exempt from that vaccine mandate. The second exemption from the vaccine mandate of a private employer is going to be a religious exemption. Now, follow me on this one because you're all going to try to call me. Don't call me. You're all going to try to call me and say, I decided my personal faith, no vaccines, or at least not this vaccine. I just decided. Okay, no one cares. I'm not helping you. No one cares. That's not a good argument. You think you're the first one to make that joke. You're the first one to come up with this idea. This is like those idiots, those absolute fucking morons who are walking around with fake vaccine exemption cards that they bought laminated during the early pandemic. No, stop. Be smarter. Don't be stupid, right? So here's what you actually need. You need a history of ardent and longstanding faith in a religion whose leaders actively do not allow you to obtain the vaccine, to take the vaccine, right? The core writings or the leadership of that faith must demonstrably reflect that you cannot take this vaccine. And really, you should be able to get a letter from those leaders saying this person, as an ardent member of our faith with a long-standing history in our church, our synagogue, our prayer group, our faith group, whatever it is, cannot, as per the tenets of her or his faith cannot take this vaccine. If you come instead with a letter from that fake church in South Africa that's like charging like $200 or $300 for like religious letters of accommodation, yeah, everybody knows about that. Don't do that. Everybody knows. Nobody cares. It's not going to work, right? You need a real faith. You need. Can you argue? Oh, I have a faith of one. Sure. Yeah, you can try to make that argument. Good luck. Let me know how it works out for you. I'm not involved. I don't care. I'm not going to help you. So, generally speaking, the religious exemptions, I know of right now 3 or 4 faiths in total that are successfully resisting the accommodation mandates, because they do have a long-standing history of a deep and ardent belief that they cannot take vaccines. There's a bunch of people arguing, oh, my faith too, my faith too, my faith too. Generally, it's not going to be effective. It's not going to be effective. I guess if you have $100,000 that you want to spend on legal fees, maybe then it could be effective. But we're not into it. We're not going to get involved if you don't have an actual faith and an actual long-term history of belief in these tenets that bar you from getting this vaccine. We're not getting involved. Okay? So those are the 2 situations, kind of a summary of the situations of how you could potentially be exempt from a private employer vaccine mandate. Do not call us and ask us questions about these. If you don't fall into one of these categories, or if you want to play what if or whatever it is, we don't work for you. These videos are free to help people, and this is a service, and this is all the service you're getting. Okay? Listen, I wish you the best of luck. I'm sorry you have to deal with this, but private employers are not the government, and I will fight the government from forcing people to do things, but private employers have private businesses, and they can make their own choices, and they might have a lot of good reasons why they're making these choices. They might be themselves at risk. They might have comorbidities. They might have a clientele that is at risk. It might just be better for their business. They might have a lot of employees who can't be exposed to the virus because they have their own comorbidities, risk factors, right? We're not going to be going after private employers in this one, unless you do fall into one of those 2 very clearly delineated categories that I mentioned. I wish you the best of luck. Be safe, like and subscribe. It helps us to help more people just like you.